Vodafone presents the pre-match.
It's time for our Vodafone pre-match, and this time around we're going to be looking at Team Liquid taking on MIBR. But before we get into that, we should address one thing. Team Liquid tweeted out, they've told us as well, that sadly Twist, he's in the middle of travelling, he's not back with the team at the moment, and Zeus will be stepping in for him, which would give MIBR a bit of a significant advantage going into this one, right?
Well, when you have a player that's literally winning MVPs without tournament wins, yes, you can talk about a disadvantage.
Might help out MIBR, though. They need to get a few more on the board there, right? They've started to grind their way back up the standings. They're looking better.
One more Brazilian on the server.
Yeah, yeah.
Got that going.
No longer is the MIBR roster the full Brazilian roster. So, yeah, we've basically got a full team there now.
Pretty much, yeah.
You've got Taco, you've got Zeus, and you've got 3 on the MIBR squad itself.
No, but it's unfortunate, obviously. Liquid wants to play. Both teams are battling it out to make it into the playoffs, and they want to be as high as possible in the rankings. You know, MIBR had a bit of a slow start to the season, but they're definitely catching up, and this will give them a great opportunity here to possibly rack up 2 wins. I mean, we're not sure if Twist is going to be able to maybe come back for the later stages. That's possible. You know, that's not out of the question apparently. So if you're Liquid, you're obviously, I mean, MIBR, you're obviously hoping that's not going to happen because it's way easier for MIBR with Zeus on the server.
Exactly, and that's not even a slant on Zeus. He says it himself, right? He's not a player. No. He's meant to be a coach. He's very aware of his position and role. But before we get any deeper into this, Natu, we're going to start looking at some of the crazy qualifiers that have got to come ahead of the major. And we're going to just show you, starting with Europe, exactly what is going on here. Now, we spoke about this in brief, right, Natu? We looked at it. These are just some of the invited teams. Oh, we can see your logo there. Mr. Ents is in the server. Then we have Heroic, Mouse Sports, North Optics, Space Soldiers, Kingwin, and VP.
This obviously a massive help for these particular teams to get straight into the close qualifier phase, because the open qualifier is an absolute minefield. There's so many teams outside these 8 teams that are going to be battling it out to get through. And it's a rough patch. It's super rough to be able to go through. You know, playing a lot of best of ones in a massive bracket, and so a lot of things can go south. So we're definitely going to see some, you know, disappointments from some teams, obviously going further. And then, you know, even just thinking about it, like this European minor is going to be so stacked. It's just unbelievable to think about.
Maybe less spots for some regions, more for Europe, if we want to get into the politics side of it. Yeah,
this is a discussion that could, you know, we could talk about this for a long time. But is it really, like, is the current system up to date, considering where we are with Counter-Strike? You know, considering, like, before, you could easily say there were, like, a few teams up in the top, and they would always be the ones, and so and so. Now you have, like, 20, 30 full-time professional teams, meaning that you have much more competition, so many more teams that can actually beat one another on a good day. So I'm not really sure if the system that the majors have is really keeping up with the development of the teams and the competition.
Well, that was a quick look at Europe. Let's have also a look at the South American side of things. We've got our Ints that we've just seen in there. Shark Esports as well. Isurus, which is the team from Argentina.
Can we get in that?
Maybe you want to do that one, yeah? Do you reckon? You know. Well, go and get yourself 3 players from this region, or is it 2?
Maybe just get passports for them.
You're just going to quickly buy into the Brazilian market, right? We're just like, yeah, can we get some underhand deals so we can play through this one? And then you've got Imperial. That's the wrong logo. I'm just going to ignore that bottom part of the graphic. That was the most confusing one there.
I'm not sure what you were referring to.
Yeah. We just exactly write that off. But that shows that that's a semi-easier kind of one to go through, right? You don't have too much of the big hitters as wide as it goes in Europe.
It's no discredit to the region either.
No, not at all.
It's just the way that things are right now. Europe is a very, very developed in terms of, it's always has been super competitive with Counter-Strike, now more than ever. So it's nothing to do with, like, it's not like we're discrediting South America or the other regions. It's just the fact that Europe is super stacked right now.
And next up, we're going to have a look at the North American side of things. It gets a little bit more dicey here as well. Not as strong as Europe, admittedly, but they do have some heavy hitters. Ghost, E-United, Luminosity, NRG, Rogue, Space Station, Swole Patrol, a bit of a meme team, and then Team Envy as well.
Listen, I'd love that Swole Patrol logo on my, on my Deagle.
The logo is on point, but the team, not so much. The Ghost Gaming one's interesting, right? Because they're going to have to play without Steel. So the rest of the lineup will play. They did this last time around. They got invited as well, so that gives them a little bit of a step up. That'll be huge if they manage to get through even without Steele, because he can still act in a role to support and help the team outside of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually very limited. He's not even allowed to coach the team on the server or anything like that.
He can't even turn up. He's just got to sit there and watch in the wings.
Yeah, basically. He's not allowed to participate in any way. Or just in any way at all. So
but he can still help them prepare.
Yeah, he can obviously, he can definitely help them out in that sense. But technically speaking, he can't really be in any way participating.
No, and another bit of a controversy for this region as well. We're going to take one last look at one more. It's going to be the CIS. Now, Gambit's in there. That makes sense. Team Spirit, Avangard, Pro 100, Fours, Monolith? Yeah, I'll go with that. Monolith Gaming, Namiga, and Windstrike. Now, that Monolith, at least they beat out, I think they took down Gambit to get into the epicenter. One of
the better ones, yeah.
Yeah, so that's quite an interesting one in there. But again, the CIS region has a lot of controversy around it in terms of who should get what spots.
Yes, Gambit obviously being through a bit of a struggle city as of recent times. Obviously, team players in the transfer list. Who knows what happens with that lineup going forward? Avangard, I think they've definitely showing strength. They went to I can't remember the name of the secondary tournament that took place in New York. I want to say it was MSI.
Oh, the MSI, yes,
yeah.
yes, MSI Gaming Arena.
Yeah, and they won that one. Obviously, there was Complexity, you have Movie Star, and one other.
United with that.
United. Those were the teams, and they won them. And there's a lot of skill on that Avangard lineup. You can't take them for granted at all.
No.
They're super hard to play against. Unorthodox play style. Same with Team Spirit. I mean, they're actually a decent team. They just kind of falter here and there. And I would say, having seen firsthand playing against them with Odense when I was coaching them last summer, Team Spirit had this tendency of losing very silly rounds, 2-on-4s in like unlosable situations, and then absolutely tilting upwards. Then things would spiral out of control. But up until that point, they actually played some really silly Counter-Strike. So, yeah, the CIS region, obviously, if you think of back in the history of majors, they've always, had teams that then have made their way into being a major team for at least a one circle of the majors, right? So now we have Windstrike, they've been demoted back. Gambit obviously bombed out, so they're down there. And then you have the upcoming teams and teams that definitely have the potential, and that'll be a spicy little minor.
Well, we can certainly come back to this, Nato, I think, coming in later on, because what we need to do now is look at our game. It is MIBR versus Team Liquid. They will be playing Inferno to start off with, but it's a hard one now for us to look at from a point of which way this would go, because I would have honestly just favoured Liquid overall in this matchup because it makes more sense. MIBR, they can play well. We're seeing them play more together as a team. Things are improving, certainly, but Team Liquid at the moment, just looking at how they play, how well gelled together they are as a better team. The big thorn in the side from this time is Zeus is having to step in rather than have your big MVP player in Twists.
Yes, and that's a massive disadvantage considering what a big of a player he is in all crucial situations. He can just be that last nail in the coffin or the saving grace when situations get tough. And obviously, that's even though Zeus will know like everything that Liquid likes to do.
Yes,
it's a different thing to know them by theory and knowing them, as they go. To then be put on the battlefield to execute certain things in a certain rhythm, to have a certain feel for everything. And obviously, with no discredit to Zeus, obviously, there's the skill factor that comes into play. You're talking about a player that in Twists that's definitely up there in contention for one of the better players in the world right now, having a massive hot streak. So that's a lot of asterisk there for Liquid, unfortunately.
Now, there's one of these things that I want to look at, especially looking at Inferno, right? MIBR, they've started to look better. We've seen them take down some of the heavier scalps now, just in the online Counter-Strike world. But it's not too shabby either for Team Liquid. So how would you, if you had to just throw in a coach, right? How do you even kind of play your game from here? Because like you said, he'll know all the strats. He'll understand what needs to be happening. But how do you compensate that difference?
You kind of just go for the vanilla stuff that they all know. So it needs to be a lot of the default play style for the set of an Inferno of taking over Banana and then hoping that MIBR will come for the fights and then come out on top of those fights and then basically just run with it, because you're just basically not going to be able to do any second mid to A kind of execute kind of stuff at all. They're just definitely not going to work without having all your 5 players, so it will come down for you to be able to just execute your default really, really well and get into those fights, win the first fights, get the numbers advantages, and then just run with it. You know, do basic fundamental things really, really correctly. And then on the opposite side, if you think of MIBR, you kind of have to think of that as well. You know, consider the fact that yes, there will be a surprise factor. Liquid might be throwing a bit of a spanner here and there, try to do something differently, maybe play a different tempo than you usually used to when looking at Liquid and when you're playing against Liquid. So MIBR has to, in my opinion, like, approach this game as vanilla as possible, not trying to think of too many spicy extra things to throw at Liquid, because you don't really know what you're expecting playing against a team with a stand-in.
Well, what we saw already was actually in another online league, we saw that actually MIBR end up beating out Liquid 16-10 on this map. So MIBR certainly have the edge regardless, I'd say, in this and how it could go down. But I guess it's just one of these things where Team Liquid are in a position where, okay, even if you did drop these 2 maps, it's not going to ruin your entire Pro League run. It's only going to mess around with the seeding a little bit because they've looked strong throughout. Where MIBR, because of their early losses they took on, they're now, okay, they've worked their way back up. They're sat in 3rd, 4th place. It's still must-win games for them to kind of counter out the losses they had early on. Yes,
definitely. I mean, in the big picture of MIBR, I think we can all agree that it's been a upward trajectory ever since Janko joined the team as a coach. I mean, actually, is he in California right now?
We're not sure.
Last week he definitely wasn't. We saw the Instagram stories. It was definitely not California. But no, in the big picture, I mean, this team definitely, stemming from Istanbul, actually, where they really took a solace to the limit, and showcasing that they're definitely building a map pool. They're becoming more rigid. They're becoming more constructed unit, something that they were used to be. When they were SK, something you would always praise them for was just their fundamentals were so phenomenal, and they were so good at the tiny pieces of Counter-Strike that make them different, such as in their retake. It felt to me like sometimes you watched them do things and it looked like it was all predetermined, even though it cannot be, because everything has a variable in those situations, right? So that's something that they need to be able to find back, and I guess one of the factors has to be that they maybe kind of, considering what a massive streak of doing so well and being unbeatable even for a while, they might have kind of lost that drive, but now finally it seems like they're getting that back. Obviously bringing in 2 hungry American guys, and then having Janko, who seems to be a energetic guy. Janko definitely has the drive, he has the passion for it, and seems to be really delivering a lot and helping Fallen. I feel like that's one of the big keys too. You know, Fallen must have felt a little bit alone in terms of having to consider and think, how do we play this game? How do we approach this game? And then having this great mind in Janko help him out, that will be a load off his shoulders. Obviously, it's going to help him tremendously. And I think we've already gotten glimpses of that. And now they just got to be able to execute consistently and keep that focus, because so far in the season, from what we've seen, there has been situations that they haven't really been focused, and that it has cost them maps. It has made matches a lot more complicated than they should have been.
Well, let's have a look at the standings that we have here so far for North America and bring this up just so you can get a picture of where it is. You look at how it was, right? MIBR had 3 losses in there, and these were all their early games. Then they've bounced back, and they've gone at a 10-1 score line on that side of things, with 1 overtime in that they still managed to win out. And Team Liquid aren't too different. The fact is they just won all 10 of their games, no overtime wins, but they've also lost 1 in overtime out of their 3. So in very similar positions. So it's quite important between these 2 teams, which is a shame when we end up with this twist situation.
Just look at the points right now. I mean, it's 33, 32, 32, 31, 31. Then a massive difference. So, I mean, it's super tight there for the top, 5? But then, top 5. Top 6, actually. Yes, 33, 32, 32, 31, 31. Yeah, there we go.
Quick maths.
Yes, thank you. Doing maths on stream has never been a great idea, has it?
No, it never works.
Anywho, you know, in terms of the points, the teams are pretty solid right now. So would have to be something quite magnificent for teams to come from underneath and surprise these teams that are already slotted in for top 6 right now.
Well, we're in a situation now where we see like Zeus is in there. One man I wanted to point out for Team Liquid is Elige. He's been rocking the Owl and the Krieg non-stop, and he's been putting it to work, doing some serious damage. And I'll bring in both Launders and Scrawny to this conversation as well, because he has looked ever so dominant, guys.
Huge part of their strategy now. Like he on Mirage, when he entries on B with the Krieg, he's a key point. Like he rarely ever fails. And it's terrifying. We've all played matchmaking and heard the Krieg on the map. And even though we won't use it ourselves, it's terrifying to hear that. It kills you in 3 bullets instead of 4. And these players are all amazing. And Alicia has been very aggressive. And it's literally gonna affect the meta a huge amount.
Also increases the obviously with the zoom, right? I think it makes headshots easier. It makes headshots at a certain distance easier. That first bullet accuracy on the SG2, like let's get away from the AK. Let's start buying Kriegs, boys.
Yeah, it's way less inaccurate too. You know, we've all had this situation.
Yeah, it's fun to see how well people already can spray with the scope head as well.
Yes, AK is actually so bad in terms of that. Like from pit on Dust 2 to the door that you hold long, it's like 77% accurate. So you can miss a bullet. You know, 20-something% chance you can miss a bullet that you aim directly on them from.
See? Big stats coming out there from the difference in these guns. Maybe we'll see more players come to use it. Certainly they are learning their way around these weapons and putting it to work. But let's see what MIBR can do against a Team Liquid who are obviously suffering with that one-player change-out.
You know, considering this is our last day of Pro League, you and I, Launders, everybody else is sticking around, but
we got fired.
We got things to do. I'm happy we get this matchup. I think this is one of the better ones. MIBR and Liquid. Obviously, with what we saw with Instant Envy, I don't ever expect this to be in such a lopsided affair, right?
Oh, it's going to be a stark contrast.
Which I'm all for.
It's going to be jarring.
I want a bloodbath.
Yeah.
I want a good game.
Definitely. We want blood spilled from both sides.
What's interesting too is obviously, you know, we've seen a little shakiness from each of these teams in the online league. Both have been kind of, you know, a little upset in terms of rounds and even who they've lost to. So I'm all for seeing those sorts of mistakes again, because you know that when you're playing versus a team of this caliber and you make mistakes, you're going to get punished for them. Yeah. When we start getting those sorts of mistakes and those punishments, that's when the force buys start winning. That's when we start getting sloppy here on Inferno. And I'm all for it.
Who
Let's
doesn't
get
like
messy,
a little sloppy
Launders.
joes? Absolutely.
Let's get messy.
I'm ready. I feel like MIBR in a lot of the matches we've seen in Pro League just haven't really tried that hard, and it's made for some close games and even almost upsets. And just, you know, being taken to overtime means you lose a point. So there's, I think, matches we look back on, it's like that's not the MIBR that we're used to seeing, not the MIBR that were on such a hot rise. And with versus Liquid, they know they literally will have to try their absolute hardest. It's not a grudge match, but these guys are both trying to earn the respect of their region and becoming the best team here. So what? Oh wait, why is Zeus playing?
Yeah, Zeus is here because Twist is gone.
Oh, well, sorry, I just totally missed that. What?
News flash, Launders.
Wow, Zeus.
Hello.
Zeus flash.
Zeus flash. Yeah. I think it's a travel thing actually. So Twist is expected. He might actually hop in for the second map, or if they're, you know, if this is a 16-14, we might get him in. It's not like he's dead. He's coming.
Yeah, good thing he's not dead. That would be terrible.
It would be. I mean, not only for him individually, but for NA. We lose one of the best.
Absolutely.
What would Canada have other than NAF?
Daps.
And Stanislaw. And Androids.
Oh.
Oh. Sadicus.
And Con Dog. You're like a corn dog, but just with the con.
Oh man, yeah, it's true. Is that what scrawn dogs are? Like
I guess so. Yeah, they're kind of like corn dogs, but they're skinny. Skinny corn dogs.
Don't make me spill something else.
Scrawn dogs. That'll be good. I could sometimes use a skinny corn dog.
Yeah, when you just want a treat, like you get them at a bar.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like fried pickles.
Definitely like, exactly. Take about the same amount of time to eat. Not too much bread.
Nope. Don't want to stack up on the
It's
carbs.
like the slider of hot dogs.
Right.
The scrawn dog.
Let's market this. Put my face on them.
I think we're onto something. Whoa, we're trying to make sales.
Don't worry, there's Photoshop. We can edit.
So that's unfortunate. Do you know where he was traveling to?
I don't, actually.
Where was he on vacation?
Maybe it's just driving home.
Oh, okay, that kind of.
I use the word travel loosely.
Transportation.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. And a loose apps hold falling back now. We've got a kill and a half for.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Can you travel to the store?
Can I travel to the store?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Is that the appropriate way to use the word?
Yeah, travel to the store.
I'm gonna go travel to the corner store.
Well, I think we have to specify. Are you going to walk? Are you going to drive?
Do you? Because
are you going to?
sometimes definitions say usually or
Do you travel to the store? I'm gonna go to.
I feel like I wouldn't be friends with someone who said that.
So what am I supposed to tell you then? Where is Twist? Oh, he go to store.
He went?
He's coming back.
Go to
He
store.
gotta go to the store.
He smashed store.
Listen, Lauders, the moral of the story is Twist isn't back yet. Maybe he's fixing his hair.
That can take time.
It's an understandable cause.
That's a constant work in progress.
It's all about the consistency, right? We've seen it at its best, and we know it's worth it.
He hit the ground running because I think the first time he busted it out, it was insane. And then that's just such a high standard to keep up.
It sets the bar high. Kind of like these two teams.
I wonder if it ever gets in his eyes.
No, because he uses product, so it's always up.
Sometimes the product is actually what weighs it down too. Sometimes.
Oh man!
Because it's product versus gravity is the equation.
Right.
Over time.
Product
versus gravity
product plus gravity divided by time.
Yeah.
Have we
need to find out. We've cracked it.
Have we started the science of hairstyling?
Then we have to also factor in the integrity of each strand. We have to know how tough his hair is. And then at that point, we can figure out how long it'll last. And there's no support beams, right, for how far it goes out. So we don't know, like, at that point. Typically, you need support beams in a building.
You tend to have those.
So it stays up.
Are you a hairstylist and an architect?
I didn't know I was an architect, but... No, I'm not. Where did I... Oh, because of the beams. I've only got the memes. Then something steel beams. Jet fuel.
Yeah, we always save that joke for when Josh is playing. Only when Ghost is in the server, Launders. Or I suppose Luminosity too.
Why?
Because there's a steel on Luminosity.
Oh, I see. Steels.
There's two steels.
Should have put that one together. I was a little bit more sharp today. Had too many double stuffed Oreos to think straight. Oh, we've got a Nitro is behind enemy lines.
Cole just got shot at, but he didn't.
Nitro doesn't have enough. He could go tap. He could go tap it. Oh, never mind. That's okay. He's just coming into the fray, trying to put a kill on the board. Could have gone and tapped the bomb, pulled people into the site. That would have been a little bit more interesting.
Would have made somebody run, but they did still have that banana man. And he didn't have a kit, Launders, so a 10-second defuse was needed. Now, we finally arrived on the bye. Round 4, Team Liquid gonna put it all down, and boy, have they got everything they could hope for, other than helmets and kits.
Yeah, this is a huge thing here is where does Zeus go? Fallen once tweeted that if your coach is playing, that you should change his site often.
So that he can't be isolated,
yes.
Singled out.
That was a really good flash, and a second really good flash. But Naf was able to kill Stewie after finally removing his arm from his face.
Gets back into the bomb site too, so a little safety found on 12 HP.
Those are some very good flashes. And the round has now been started. The AUG is taken down. It's out of the round. It's no longer an option. As for the rest of MIBR, we're seeing good flashes to clear stuff out. They've got mid control. They've pushed Liquid back. They're overstacking towards A. And it's interesting. We've got kind of smokes that would allude to maybe a lane take to try to pull attention away from the Arch player to look at halls or to look at lane. And it doesn't seem to necessarily be working. Taco is on full alert. Flash comes out as well. Fur gets away. Tarek finds a trade. That's key. And they've actually made their way into CT. It's just Nitro here versus 3.
And he just barely got around that corner too, so lucky to have not been spotted. Remember, if Nafly dies on 12 health, when the retake does come rolling, then it falls onto only Zeus.
Oh, taking their time here.
Yep, and Nitro ready for it. He's been spotted though. They're gonna have to try and deal with him. He puts the frag out to soften him up, and that does make contact versus Tarek. Still, the other CT's not into position until Zeus is just clotheslined by Coldzera. So now that really pushes it onto Nitro because anybody else to come bail him out is so low. leaving him solo.
Look at this. He has a great spot, but he doesn't even have a way to approach the retake. It's interesting because they let him stay alive. They knew exactly where he was. They just said, listen, if you cross this line, we'll fight you. But if not, we're going to put the bomb down. And Nitro doesn't have enough time to play for this after plant, so he's lucky to find his way out, get into CT spawn, and think about next round. MIBR take that one, and it was a very careful approach to both the A site, to the split, and to Nitro, who was sitting there in a pretty prime spot. And again, I think the key point is that he didn't have to fight. He wasn't even allowed to.
No, he wasn't given anything. I mean, you can see the way he worked around the coffins. He's trying to make contact with Banana, but no. MIBR kept themselves in the corners, kept themselves under the radar, and minimized the effects of Nitro, despite his best efforts. So it's led us into an additional gun round. That full round loss bonus already starting to take effect. The 2 perfect purchases back to back. For a lone wolf here in mid. Whoa, Nitro, be careful. Just playing around the edges of the arches where Launders, you need to always be cautious with those plays.
That's when you got to be on full alert, absolutely. The damage is there, but the kill isn't had, so I don't think they'll be too worried, and we can see it's a very thorough approach to the map control by MIBR. Tons of time left on the clock. They've already pushed Liquid back into the sights. A flash comes out, and Zeus eats it while pushing out. Unfortunately, probably understands the play, but not used to the timing. Tarek to be very careful, most certainly looked at his radar to make sure Taco wasn't there and reacted immediately thereafter. Tarek off the corner of his screen that he can't see because he's on 4-3. Gets taken out.
And then Furt gets himself one further. Does manage to start working around the arch side. Nitro pinched before he's prepared. Wanted to get behind the cover of the pit, and no sir. That's taken straight away from him. Therefore, poor Elige gets flanked from the B-bomb site. He was walking forward, and by the time Stewie gets there, he's already dead. Fur tearing up the arch.
Sad to see Liquid are not in full form, you know. I hope that Twist travels home safely.
But quickly.
But quickly, swiftly.
You know, if you're in an Uber, you slide the guy 20 bucks.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You say, step on it. Say go. You just yell something. Yeah, like a horse, like you're riding a horse. That's how you keep a. What's your Uber rating?
4.97.
4.97. That's amazing. That's as good as it gets. I bet you're very punctual.
Always.
I think that's the most important thing when it comes to whether or not a driver will give you 5 stars.
And if I ever find the guy who ruined my 5-star rating,
yeah, what are you gonna do to him, Connor?
Enough to get a 4-star rating.
Enough to get a 4-star rating.
Yeah, it's gonna bring it down. Whoa, Eagles up close. I mean, you know, this is a write-off round because the B site's already been enveloped with both smoke and members of MIBR. You know, once we tried to figure out how, you know, we could pronounce the team of MIBR other than pronouncing it letter by letter.
Yeah.
What if we did, like, my BR?
Nah.
Me BR.
Me BR?
Me BR. You
That
know, if we
like,
pronounce the MI and
something-
then the BR for Brazil.
That's like sounds like a CN enemy of some sort. Me BR.
Sounds kind of robotic.
I feel like I'd find it underwater somewhere.
Yep. Yep. You most certainly
Yeah,
would.
like an underwater electronic, a MIBR. It sounds like something aquatic that
You used to find sea mines.
exactly similar to like a Mars rover.
Curiosity.
There you go, underwater.
All right, so the window's out the
The
idea's
window's
out the window.
The window's out the door. We're closing the door. The window's out front on the doorstep. The window's been defenestrated out the door.
Nitro, no. Too quick. Whoever that was, I believe it was Fur. No, whoever's just behind him. I think it was Stewie actually just jumping around. Poor Taco walks out from boiler door and he's met with a face full of flurry. Nitro with a headshot. Cuts him down, sure enough. They haven't actually been able to find a member within the A site, but poor Team Liquid, they're so isolated over towards Library and Arch. I mean, that's the one avenue shut down, but they could still easily reroute themselves through the hay bales and porch. They should be able to get up on the bomb site, and it's only Zeus to defend it, so wish him the best of luck, but nope, can't manage it. Nafly from Library will, with the op, at least cut down a single body. Nitro's able to trade from Coldzera, who does push up through middle, but this leaves both of the oppers for Team Liquid, so that's definitely going to give you an extra incentive to walk away and save, but at least they've swapped to the AK now.
What's insane about that is that was just the most direct ball bang you could ask for. I have to assume that there was no ability for the op to penetrate the wall from that angle, maybe because of how thick it is, as we could see from Stu's perspective, but that was directly onto Stu. He knew exactly how he was holding that spot. So unfortunate for Nitro, as we can see the bomb's ticking right now, but they could have started that retake off early if that kill came down. So fortunate for MIBR. They seem to be trying as hard as possible, by the way. You know, they're doing everything correctly and just making sure that they win this match.
Well, I mean, you can't help but feel like when you're MIBR, you're thinking, okay, if there's any opponents we have to take seriously, who is it in the league? Liquid, NRG, Ghost, and Renegades, just because those other two have had, you know, so hot of a start to the season. Now, you walk into the match versus Liquid, it's the one you're supposed to be ready for, and you find out that Twist isn't here. That's definitely going to be giving you an incentive to kind of, you know, bully back this team. So,
yeah, like a lot of the preparation came in with, they assumed that everyone would be there, so they're just sticking to what they're meant to do. And I am in no way accusing them of trying too hard, which is not something you should ever say to somebody in matchmaking even, because sometimes the game is more important to them than it is to you, and that's a you problem, not theirs. So, but with MIBR in this match, just pointing out that this is, you know, one-sided. It's like, oh, well, you know, Liquid have this one player they're missing. MIBR are playing really well right now.
Yep. They're going to be trying their entry into the A site. It's actually turned back by Zeus and Nitro. That's 3 from the 2 of them. Already one rotator up close next to the boxes as well. So Liquid doing a better job this round than... Oh! It's some of the most previous. Hello, Nitro.
Damn, brother.
He even tags up Fallen, but that's a collateral. Back into the round, he drops into the site, 50 seconds left. And Fallen's managed to find a lead, so Nafly's the last one up, and Fallen's got him. You'd think one peek may be all he has.
Oh my god.
Because Naf has had enough.
Dude.
A first round for Liquid, but my goodness. The ops coming into fruition that round.
That's nasty. Great round from Nitro. Can't let that overshadow the fact that Nitro is the reason they won this round. But what a 1v4. And not only that, they get the 3 kills. So Liquid are so broke at this moment. Zeus is actually, I think he's just set it up so that he's going to pistol and buy and drop guns, which is definitely the best way to do it. But even everybody else is down to 0. So rough round to lose that many people, to fall victim to the ferocious off-collat.
Yeah, one of the key differences in that round to the previous that we've seen MIBR go A is that Fur wasn't able to exert himself on Arch side, so those rotators from Library actually find impact. They're able to walk up onto the site, bolster it. You know, previously we've seen Fur kind of dismantle and limit the options of Liquid, pushing the pressure onto the defenders themselves and not that rotate. But he's not going to try it again, you see? 3 players out from apartments, and the 2 floating mid do have options, but a great flashbang and a swift headshot. Poor Zeus, scared down in the pit, as Nitro does walk in. He's all alone now, will manage one as he skirts his way behind the box. Utility on him in the form of the flash, but he keeps his gun out. He's got a teammate over towards Library, but again, with the smoke in his face, he can't do too much. He does come running inwards, and then he is cut down. So it is still just Nitro. Naf, no, does get in, but he can't manage the last shot.
He had that lined up. He was so close. Stewie can't get back the off for Fallen, but they don't really care. It's a reset for Liquid. They can spend everything they have, but it's only going to net them pistols now. That means MIBR will be able to probably run away with the rest of this half. That was quite close, man. That was so close. The execute, though, the spacing was impeccable. Tarek got out right after the flashbang popped, and I don't even remember who was on top of the sight box, but he looked like he was in the worst position. But he was blind. He was just completely blind. That was very, very nicely done. It's just something that they got out of dry running, almost certainly.
Now they're going to make quick work versus the limited purchase of Liquid. Stewie flirting with a couple men over here on the B site. Nothing wrong with that. But there's a, risk that comes with it.
Think Nitro spotted? Nope, doesn't look like it. And Coldzera drops the bomb. Nitro, could he make a play of this?
Certainly could have with that AK for wrapping around to the B site. Manages to figure out where the last one's at. Stewie's still lurking around behind a leash, so now as he comes back for the save, might be blown away. Most certainly is. 9-1, Launders.
9-1.
What's happening?
I mean, we kind of know. Twist is a really important player on the A site. It's actually really, really important. I'm surprised they're using Zeus to play Pit. I know he's filling a position that, and he knows how Twist plays it and everything, but it's just such an important part of the map. And people could say that about almost everything else, but like say you're spotting Arch, you can fall back, fall back, fall back. Switch places when it's time to fight. Pit, you're really just like the linchpin of the rounds.
Right.
This has somehow become a 2v1. Oh. Crouches under the crosshair of Taco.
Now, the whole thing was, though,
yeah,
Liquid had to do a good enough job to make this game long enough so that Twists could get back home.
Ooh, that's the only thing they're aiming for. The problem is they don't get to set the pace because they're on CT side.
No, exactly. And we've seen some pretty rapid rounds from MIBR. Even this one, like, I think that's why they end up losing 3 players, is because they're just charging forward.
Yep.
They're happy to take the gun duels. I mean, they're clearly...
They're trying to get to map 2 before Twist gets home.
Yeah, that's the strat.
They're actually anti-stratting Liquid right now. And it has nothing to do with the name. Oh my god. I mean, that's something else, right? There's 2 players there. Stewie's happened to take the fight. He just out-headshots them. Aziz can't win his duel either, and that's the A site compromised. Once again, can't blame a team for bullying the site that has a stand-in. That's just what you're supposed to do. As for Liquid, this is that they should try to shift them around, I guess, but always going to be a problem. Elige, how many can he get? Will he rack up a high score here? No, trades instantaneous. And Nafly. Is he no longer Nafly? Is he Is this Naf now?
He's just Naf.
What happened to Nafly, man? Because I really like the reason that he had that name.
Right.
Maybe it's that he's Nafly in spirit, but just for the casters and stuff, he's Naf. Us lowly casters, we just get to call him Naf.
We're just the Naf. He knows who he truly is.
That's true.
He knows his cause, his
can't
purpose.
be labeled.
Can't hold me back. And Liquid can't hold back on MIBR. This is, wow.
This is a wow.
This is a wowza. It's kind of unfolding so quickly that, I'm even struggling to grasp what it is exactly that's going on. I mean, we've seen Fergo running up middle. We've seen Stewie do it in the most recent rounds. It's just MIBR coming in on point. They had some Cheerios this morning. Big old bowl of Wheaties.
You ever do your eyebrows?
What do you mean?
You ever get your eyebrows done?
I had my girlfriend do it.
So you do have them get done.
Yeah.
You ever been like, my eyebrows are on fleek?
I've never said those words. I generally don't.
In the privacy of your own room?
I normally don't talk about it. I've looked in the mirror and gone, damn.
Damn, my eyebrows are on fleek?
That's a clean curve.
Curve, okay.
But you and I, you know just as much as I do. You can't overdo it, right?
I've never got my eyebrows done.
Not even like a little bit?
Not even a bit, no.
Oh.
Yeah. And I've never like gone in the mirror and said my eyebrows are on fleek.
Well, that's a good thing. That's
Yeah.
where I draw the line. But I try to keep it clean,
That's good.
just around the edges. You gotta stay fresh, Launders.
That's absolutely 100% factual. Do players get makeup done?
For media day, definitely for media day.
I was wondering if they ever go on stage with makeup done for their matches. That wouldn't really make sense.
I mean, they could if they wanted to, but
I think if they are, player cams have not been that flattering, so I don't know whose fault that is.
Launders, it's another gun round, but at this point, I don't know if I'm believing in.
Do you think they can take this one?
No. I mean, maybe the gun round, but not the map. No, I don't. I just can't happen to see it.
Wow, calling it early, Connor.
Yeah, but why shouldn't I? That's the question I ask myself. Why shouldn't I, Launders?
Don't ask me hard questions, Connor. For some reason, Fallen always has the bomb when he's opping. I just don't understand it. I don't know if people are throwing him the bomb. There's no way he's asking for it.
You don't think so?
No way.
I think
you should not be holding the bomb if you're opping.
So statistically,
you have to literally switch off your scope to give someone the bomb back.
Yeah, maybe not if you're opping, but I think it's intelligent for the IGL to plant the bomb because you should be, you know, kind of micromanaging the after plant positions.
No, you shouldn't. You should never micromanage after plant positions.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, you should be obviously aware of the system, right? So you know where that bomb has to go down. I think, like, you know, you can make those fine-tuned adjustments. You can micromanage if you have to make an adjustment. I just trust leaders with bombs.
Oh my
He's
God.
on one tonight. Maybe on 2. Well, actually, he's on 3.
Yeah.
But then he dies. So 4 and 5 have escaped him, but it's not like they're going to escape entirely. They're being hunted by the hounds of MIBR.
Whoa.
Tarek looked like he was around the corner, but Nitro can curve bullets, clearly.
Ooh, some good jump peaks. Can't hit the flick. However, it's not on fleek. Is fleek on... I don't even know what fleek means.
On fleek means to be on point.
Okay. But is the word slang or is it an actual word?
I think it's slang. Fleek. F-L-E-E-K.
Fleek. Let's find out.
Well, it's not in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, so it must be slang.
Okay. Wait, no, I think you put an apostrophe in there.
Well, that was an accident, but it's still not in the dictionary.
Oh, unfortunate.
Right. Merriam-Webster, she's outdated. Ooh! This is what I'm saying, Launders. Like, okay, they're running through smoke. They're getting a little wily, but
Freiburg.
Stewie's just unreal. 21 and 5. He's gunning for the 22nd.
Oh.
Jumps the gun. Of course, it's Zeus to kill him.
Let's go.
The ace robber.
Damn. That was insane, man.
Not acing my lineup.
This is literally Freiburg. This is Freiburg turning an entry into an ace on banana.
So, this is the end of the half, my friends. 14-1. MIBR look unstoppable. A destructive force in the face of Liquid.
A very movable object.
Yes, most certainly.
Plush toy at best.
Liquid just
Thrown across the room.
kind of left in a puddle so far.
What can you say though, man? Like, you can't say anything. It's unlucky.
I mean, you can talk about eyebrows and
Yeah, we can change the topic.
there's things you can talk about, but they just don't happen to be Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
There was some beauty of a couple rounds. That collateral from Fallen, Nitro's attempt, and
fun to watch.
Nafly's final frag here. So that was a nice round with the opping. But outside of some just very aggressive gameplay,
That was my favorite moment.
that's all it really took. I liked Fur most notably. I think that was kind of what set the tone. He ran into this server and said, watch this, I'm going to take mid every round. And did. You know, he was puncturing holes over towards Arch side. And once he got his ball rolling, the rest of the squad was right there behind him. So now it's up to Liquid to try and take back the A site. They'll look to seep through the cracks and crannies.
4 players here though.
Yep, now only at this point do they start executing the T's, and that's when they're already within the bomb site, like shooting fish in a barrel.
He was just trying to B-hop up mid. That's pretty nasty. We gotta cue that one up, Marcus.
Like they took one tap of damage.
Yikes.
One tick of damage.
Yoinks. Oh, we don't have the replay.
It was so quick they broke the replay machine.
Broke it. Stewie's 22 and 6.
God damn.
Is this the round that the game ends?
You know, listen, after I watched Int dismantle Envy earlier today, I thought surely they can't have a faster game tonight.
Right. No way. How are you gonna beat that? Stewie said, watch me.
This is a good sign of things to come as well, because after the Liquid matches, not to jump too far away from today, we have MIBR versus NRG as well, right?
Nice.
So if we're talking about MIBR being on point, tonight's the night for them to really shine. This is an important one in Season 8 of the ESL North American Pro League.
Our final day.
Week 2, Day 4, 5.
5.
It's our last one, so, you know, MIBR, they're sending us off with a gift.
They hate us. They're sending us off fast.
Trying to cherish the moment here, guys.
Holding on tight.
Smoke on the cross. The T's start to come in, but already they've been turned back. At least the first has. Eric behind the pillar with a couple of heads to present themselves. Naf manages both those kills. So sure enough, 2v2. He's going to reallocate the bomb behind Fountain.
Taco's low. They gave him time to get in position. Bomb's out in the open, and they're in the usual spots. Fallen has a Molotov.
This is going to affect Naf first. Takes a dink, so now both these T's are tagged. Fallen just has to clean them up. Check behind. Oh! And he jumps for the final one. That's the 16th, folks. 16-1. MIBR over top of Liquid. I didn't even have time to take my shoes off.
You were going to take your shoes off?
I was thinking about it.
That would be the first time in 2 weeks. Oh my god. All right. Epilepsy warning.
Launders, what do you have to say about that match?
GG.
Anything else?
Nope.
Just GG.
GG.
How do you feel moving into the next one? Because our second map between these two teams, which will be coming up shortly, is Dust 2.
Yeah. Should be a great match. Hopefully Twist's travel has gone swiftly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost as fast as this map.
Yeah.
Right?
Hopefully as fast as the map went.
Of Twists in this map, one of those things had to go quickly.
Yeah,
and,
that's true. Maybe both, hopefully.
Fingers crossed, folks. But obviously the individual level of MIBR is on a whole other echelon this evening. And we're going to see if they can change this over to Dust 2 and tear them apart once more. There's only one way to find out, and that's to stay tuned. We'll see you soon.